You're listening to The Quiet Midnight. I babysat for the Merrimans every Friday night for almost a year. Best job I ever had. They lived in one of those big quiet houses at the end of a cul-de-sac, the kind with more rooms than a family of 3 could ever use. They paid double the going rate. All I had to do was watch their daughter, Lily, until they got home around midnight. There was only one strange thing about the job: the rules. Mrs. Merriman kept them on a laminated card on the fridge, 6 of them. The first time I read them, I almost laughed. 1. Lily goes to bed at 8. Do not wake her once she's asleep. 2. If Lily comes downstairs after bedtime, do not talk to her. Walk her back up and tuck her in without a word. 3. The door at the end of the upstairs hall stays locked. Do not open it, even if you hear knocking. 4. If you hear Lily crying through the baby monitor, check on her. If you hear Lily crying anywhere else in the house, do not. 5. Do not go into the basement after dark. 6. If Lily asks you to check under her bed, say no. I remember standing there in that bright kitchen thinking, these are the most overprotective parents I've ever met. But the money was incredible, and Lily was a sweet kid, so I let it go. Rich people are weird. That's what I told myself. For 11 months, nothing happened. Lily always went down at 8 without a fight. I'd do my homework, watch TV, and the Merrimans would come home and pay me in crisp bills. Easiest money in the world. Then came the last Friday. It was storming that night. Lily was quieter than usual at dinner. When I tucked her in at 8, she grabbed my sleeve and said, "Will you stay until I'm asleep?" I said, "Sure." I sat on the edge of her bed until her breathing went slow and even, and then I went back downstairs. Around 9, I heard footsteps on the stairs. I looked up, and there was Lily, standing at the bottom of the staircase in her nightgown, just standing there looking at me. Rule 2, don't talk to her. Walk her back up, tuck her in, no words. So that's what I did. I took her hand. It was cold, freezing cold, but kids get cold. And I walked her back upstairs. I tucked her in. She watched me the whole time without blinking. I didn't say a word. I went back down. 20 minutes later, footsteps again. Lily, bottom of the stairs. Same spot, same nightgown. My stomach started to knot up. But rules are rules. I walked her up, tucked her in, came back down. And then, through the baby monitor on the coffee table, I heard it. Lily, crying from her bedroom, but I had just walked her upstairs. I had just tucked her in. She'd been right in front of me 30 seconds ago, so who did I just put to bed? I sat there staring at that monitor, my whole body cold. The crying kept coming through it, soft, muffled, unmistakably Lily, coming from her room, upstairs, where I'd left the girl I'd walked up not a minute before. Rule 4. If you hear Lily crying through the baby monitor, check on her. I didn't want to. Every part of me was screaming not to. But I'd been following the rules all night, and Rule 4 said, go. So I went. I climbed the stairs slowly. The hallway was dark. At the far end, the locked door, Rule 3, sat shut like always. Lily's room was the second on the left. The crying got louder as I got closer, real crying, scared crying. I opened her door. Lily was in her bed, sitting up, face wet with tears, shaking, real, warm. When she saw me, she threw her arms around me and sobbed into my shoulder, and I could feel her little heart pounding. "You came up twice," she whispered. "Mom said you should never come up if I ask you to. She said if the other Lily comes downstairs, you're supposed to walk her back up and leave her. but you tucked her into my bed. She's been lying next to me. She's still here. I felt the blood drain out of me. Slowly, so slowly, I turned my head and looked at the bed. The blankets on the other side were pushed up, rumpled, like something was lying under them. And as I watched, they rose and fell. Rose and fell. Something under those blankets was breathing. I grabbed Lily. I didn't think. I just grabbed her and ran. Down the hall, down the stairs, and I did not look back. I got us both into the downstairs bathroom, the one with the lock, and I held her and I waited. I heard footsteps come down the stairs. Slow, bare feet on hardwood. They crossed the living room. They stopped outside the bathroom door. And then a voice, Lily's voice, but wrong, flat, too calm, said through the door, "You forgot Rule 6. Rule 6. If Lily asks you to check under her bed, say no. I never checked under the bed, but I understood in that moment that I'd never needed to, because whatever lived under it didn't wait to be invited anymore. The Merrimans came home at midnight to find me locked in the bathroom with Lily, both of us shaking. They didn't ask what happened. That's the part I can't get past. They didn't ask. Mr. Merriman just went very still, and Mrs. Merriman closed her eyes, and she said quietly, "It got out, didn't it?" Not a question. They paid me for the night. Double, like always. And Mrs. Merriman walked me to my car in the rain, and before she shut my door, she leaned in and said one last thing. "Thank you for following the rules. Most of them." She looked back at the house. "We've had 6 babysitters. You're the only one who ever left." I never went back. I don't know what happened to that family. But I kept the laminated card. It was still in my jacket pocket when I got home, though I don't remember taking it. There are only 5 rules on it now. Rule 2 is gone. The one about the other Lily. Like it was never there. And some nights, when it's storming, I swear I can hear a child crying, like some soft and muffled, like through a baby monitor coming from a house I don't live in, at the end of a street I've never driven down. So if you ever babysit and the parents leave you a list of rules, follow every single one. Because the rules aren't there to protect the child. They're there to protect you. This was the Quiet Midnight. Sleep well, if you can.